Hey Motorheads, it's your boy MP coming at you live and direct from the Hella Mega headquarters out here in beautiful, sunny, exceptionally hot San Francisco, California. And the car on tonight's menu is the 2010 Audi TT S, a stellar car that really needs to get discussed, really needs to be put on the menu and put a lot of other cars on blast, and a lot of people need to up their product knowledge with this car. The thing that bothers me the most about the Audi TTS, and I don't want to stay on this too hard because I really want to get into what makes this car special, is the fact that people refer to this car as the poor man's Porsche Boxster or the poor man's Porsche Cayman. And I don't think that's very just to say about the car, especially one that's faster than both those cars. This car, has a 265 horsepower, 258 foot-pound of torque, four-cylinder, 2.0-liter turbo motor that pumps out 0 to 60 in 4.9 seconds. I mean, that's Audi S4 speed. I don't think it's very justifiable to shun the car in that way. You know what I'm saying? If anything, pick the car apart for its flaws, but don't say that it's a poor man's product. Both are great in their own right, and especially to say that about a car that's going to outperform the other. I had the opportunity to drive both cars around a race car track, and I could say that this is definitely not the poor man's version of anything. The Audi TT S, to me, has a lot of really cool, unique features about it that a lot of people don't know about. The first thing that I want to point out about this car is that the car has 31%. The car is 31% aluminum. The frame is built this way to basically cut out body fat to pump out high fuel efficiency for a sports car, which is great because, again, this is Audi falling back on advancing technology, advancing products. You know, in the States, people don't really view Audi as a luxury or high-end or top-notch car, but around the world, it's a universal thought and feeling that Audi really pushes the envelope, and I think that you really see this in the TTS. The other 70% is made of ultra high-strength steel. For obviously the safety purposes, Audi prides itself on safety, so a very well-balanced frame. Again, you combine that with the fact that it has that motor, and it has only a DSG transmission, which is a good and bad thing. DSG, again, good. Why? High fuel efficiency, high performance, high resale value. And again, you have the paddle shiftings with that. The one thing that bums me though is since you can't get into a 6-speed manual, I do feel like all performance cars should at least have that as an option, because obviously even though the DSG is a little bit more advanced, you lose that sense of intimacy with the road that you would be able to experience with the clutch. So there's some downfall there. Overall, though, in terms of a sense of design, I think that Audi TTS made some huge upgrades from the first generation. The back taillights are a little bit sharper. There's these little tiny boxes that really stand out. Obviously, you have the built-in spoiler where it retracts at, I believe, 70 miles per hour. I'm going to have to double check on that, and I will link that information up at the bottom. But it has this really sharp back end, really crisp, tiny, obviously, hatchback window. From the front end, I feel like they could have done a little bit better of a job. It has some great lines, not overly aggressive. And the headlights, of course, are sharp, but I hate the little orange signaling lights in the corner. When you go to an Audi dealership, check that out. I'm sure it will bother you too. It just seems a little out of place when you pull all the lines together. I don't like that in the design. The cabin space, great cabin, really is a comfort for the driver. Everything is really angled for the driver, so it has this really great driving experience. It's very rich in driving experience. Obviously, you're not going to have. Don't even bother putting people in the back. And I've had some people say some weird thing about a passenger driving experience, but that's obviously very personal. But I want you really to embrace this car because there's a lot of things that a lot of people don't know about. Standard feature. This is for the track drivers out there. I love throwing things out there for the track drivers. Track trivia. The car has magnetic suspension as a standard feature. Super, super, super hot. And what that's going to do basically is you accelerate. It has this synthetic fluid that tightens. Has this magnetic. It tightens the suspension for more performance as you push the car along faster. I'm going to link up more information about magnetic suspension below this video, but from a performance standpoint, it's just like unreal. It really allows you to have a normal and sport version of the car. So, I mean, I could go on talking hours and hours about what makes the TTS so special. I do want to say this, though, on a closing note, and I hate to really put this out there. Just like the Apple iPhone 3G and 3GS, a lot of people felt like that should have been the platform for when the iPhone first launched. I also am someone that feels like from a performance standpoint, this should have been the plateau of what the Audi TT should have came out with. Obviously, they dropped the 3.2 motor going into 2010, and for good reason. Obviously, the price point difference made it unreasonable to get into a 3.2. And I feel like the A4 2.0, the detuned motor and the 200 horsepower just isn't enough pep for me. So while that really doesn't really say much about, I mean, that doesn't hurt the TTS, I just feel like that this should have been the entry level to the car. And I think that the TT RS, which comes out in about a year, might be worth waiting for, because that's going to be a 5-cylinder, 300 plus horsepower engine, and I'm scared to even drive the car. So you're kind of in a fence period with the car, and I think that that might be a good and bad reason to purchase the car, because I think that you might be able to get some aggressive pricing with the RS coming out in the near future. With that being said, though, don't let this car fool you. Don't let those LED daytime running lights scare you as the car approaches you at over 100 miles per hour. And definitely, please, don't fool yourself. Get up on your product knowledge and do not discount this car. I know Porsche is not discounting this car. Porsche sees this car as a threat. Porsche drivers, you know it. I think that you really, really should get up to game on this car, because this car can be a serious car in your stable, especially if you're looking to be in the 50 to 60K range. But at the end of the day, I want you to keep on motoring and keep upping your product knowledge, because that's where it's all about with the TTS.